requirements of government. And that means that essentially we exist in order to serve the political masters.
I want to ask you also a question about Barack Obama's eligibility to be president. Now, of course, it's getting so now that when you bring this up, see, you're a kook. That's the way they've engineered this is the widely discredited theory that Barack Obama may not be an American citizen. I don't know that it's been widely discredited.
It hasn't even been examined, and this is what is leading a lot of people to be suspicious. No matter what they do with the ridicule and all the nonsense, they can't stop it because it's so obvious. A simple question is asked. It was asked of John McCain, by the way, because of circumstances of his birth in Panama. People didn't just dismiss it and say, oh, his parents were American, just shut up. They examined it carefully, and they came to a conclusion based on the evidence that he was eligible. Even Barack Obama participated in the Senate discussions about that, right? So somebody raises the question because Barack Obama's maternal grandmother is heard on a tape to say that he was born in Kenya and she was there. Other elements of this birth certificate that they posted on the Internet do not include the information necessary to actually anchor the birth in Hawaii. And the certificates of that kind, certificates of live birth, were issued to people who were not born on U.S. soil. Final point. His mother, at the time of his birth, was too young to transmit citizenship. If she was the sole source of that citizenship and he was born on foreign soil, right? So she was married to a Kenyan or a non-U.S. national who could not thereby establish his claim to U.S. citizenship. She was too young under the law to establish his claim to U.S. citizenship. So if he was not born in Hawaii, then he was not born a U.S. citizen and would not be eligible under the Constitution. Now, I am not among those who say, well, I know for sure he's not a citizen. I don't know anything. I'm just asking a question based on the fact that there's sufficient evidence to justify and warrant an investigation, just as they concluded there was in the McCain case. So instead of just showing his actual long-form birth certificate that if it exists, would include information about the hospital, the doctor, other things that would put this whole thing to rest, easy as pie, $12.50, I think, in Hawaii. He has spent close to $1 million on lawyers that not only are preventing access to that birth certificate, but to any college records or other records that might have a bearing on the answer. What's he hiding?
Well, that's so astonishing because this could be so easily cleared up. Like
Exactly.
you said, $12.50.
I didn't expect, to be honest, when people approached me about this. After the election, folks came to me. They had been denied standing to ask this question and to try to get the courts to do their duty under the
By the way, I find that interesting.
Yeah.
An American citizen doesn't have standing in this question?
Right. We, the people, are responsible for the Constitution. We, the people, must go to the polls and vote. And yet if we ask the question, is this person eligible for me to cast my vote for, we don't get to ask that. That's absurd. These judges are simply serving a clear, biased agenda that is destructive of the Constitution and spits in the face of the American citizen. But they came to me because I had actually been listed on ballots around the country, right, as the candidate of the America's Independent Party. And they thought, well, the court can't deny that you have an interest in this. And as it turned out, in the case we're doing in California, the judge hasn't tried this standing argument. He's tried other ridiculous arguments. But we're continuing to appeal. The point being, though, that as I looked at the evidence, I said to myself, well, this isn't conclusive. But it obviously would warrant further investigation, and the people who should properly do it are the officials sworn to uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution at any level of government where they come into contact with this process in their duties. That would be secretaries of state around the country who have to put people on the ballot. That would be people who have to certify election results and things of that kind. It would be the Supreme Court of the United States. It would be the Congress. These are people who are sworn to make sure that the Constitution is respected, and right now they're not doing their job.
Well, I think the biggest lie that politicians tell is when they put their hand on the book and say, I promise to uphold the Constitution. Are you serious? The Constitution is the biggest impediment to what they want to do, and it was designed to be that way, and they hate it.
They do, and I think what we're looking at is something the founders of this country would have predicted. Alexander Hamilton gave a famous 6-hour speech at the Constitution Convention where he basically talked about the ambition of what he called the princes, that is, elites who want to control others and control society, and who therefore want to make sure that there'll be no resistance, that they can manipulate people according to their will, and so forth. Well, they wrote the Constitution to put obstacles in the way of that ambition.
Yep.
So that a few people couldn't control the whole society. And I think we have elites now who, with their money and power and position, think they ought to be running everything, or else they think that they're somehow morally superior and they ought to be running everything. They look down their noses at the people who cling to their guns and religion, and they don't want to have to abide by the constraints of the Constitution.
You know, I have one more question, and I don't know if I have time. Can you stay with us for 5 minutes? I've just got one more question to ask.
Sure.
All right? I'll tell you what the question is. The question is, suppose they find out he's not eligible, then what happens? Okay? We'll be right back after this. Dr. Alan Keyes, former ambassador, joining us this morning. Quinn and Rose, America's Morning Show, back in a flash. All right, for our Pittsburgh listeners, Dr. Keyes will appear at a breakfast at the Renaissance Hotel on April 11th from 6. That's 6th Street. Yeah, the Renaissance Hotel, 6th Street, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then the tea party is afterwards. Go to PennsylvaniaTeaParty.com, PennsylvaniaTeaParty.com to get all the details. You got to buy tickets by the 8th of April. All right, real quick, I'm up against a hard break here, Dr. Keyes, and being a talk show host, you know that, what that means. What would happen? What would happen if they found out he wasn't eligible?
Well, first thing, it's not a big deal in constitutional terms. Vice President Biden becomes president. That's why the amendment was written, so as to provide an orderly transition in the case of anything that affects the qualifications or abilities of the president to perform. So that's a simple matter. And the political crisis would not be over. The things that are getting people out at the tea parties and so forth aren't the result of just one man. They're the result of a faction that has apparently taken over the Democratic Party and is determined to push this country into socialism, to subject us to world government. His appointments in these areas have indicated that he wants to essentially erase the sovereignty of the United States. And what he did over at the G20 moves us in the same direction. So people will still have to continue the effort to arouse grassroots activism so as to take this country back. That's the key thing that's needed right now from people who care about the American Constitution and American liberty.
Well, this is George Soros' dream come true, and I suppose that's why he said he was having a very good, a very good crisis. But Dr. Keyes, I'd love to keep you on here for another 2 or 3 hours, frankly. It's a joy to listen to you, but I want to thank you for joining us. And Dr. Keyes' website is www.loyaltoliberty.com. Loyaltoliberty.com. Thank you again, Dr. Keyes.
Thank you for having me.
See you on the 11th.